Hello friends, in this video tutorial, we have start new video tutorial on live table CRUD operation in Node.js. So in this tutorial series, we will show you how to implement live table or inline table CRUD operation in Node.js. So live table means we can insert, update, delete MySQL data in HTML table without going into another web page. So all operation will perform inline HTML table and add, edit and remove data without refresh of web page. In this video, we will first show you how to fetch data from MySQL table and display on web page using Node.js. And with this data, we will also make blank row for add new data in MySQL table. Now let's start discussing this topic. So this is our testing database. And in this, we have one sample data table, with table column like, id, first name, last name and age. And under this table, we have already inserted some data, so first we will fetch this data, and display on, web page in, live HTML table. After this, we want to create Node.js application, so in command prompt, first we have goes into directory, in which we will create Node application. After this, we have run this command, which will create live table insert update delete directory. And after this, we have goes into this directory, and under this, we want to download Node dependencies. So we have run this command, which will download Express module, MySQL module and body parser module. After this, we have opened this folder in code editor, and here we can see that Node dependencies has been downloaded under this Node modules. Next we have to create new file, with name like server.js file. And same way, we want to create one HTML file with name like index.html for display output in the browser. First we have goes into server.js file, and under this, first we want to import Express framework. So here, we have to write Express variable is equal to require method with Express module name. After this, we want to import MySQL module under this Node application. So here, we have to write MySQL variable is equal to require method with MySQL module name. Next, we want to import body parser module under this Node file. So here, we have to write body parser variable is equal to require method with body parser module name. After importing required module, now we want to create instance of Express application. So here, we have to write app variable is equal to Express function, which will create new instance of Express application. Next we want to add middleware for pass incoming data. So for this, here we have to write app variable.use method, and under this method, we have to write body parser variable.url encoded method, and under this method, we have to write extended key, which value has been set to false. This code will add middleware function to Express instance, which will parses the incoming request bodies and make the passed data available on request body object. After this, we want to add middleware function for pass incoming data in JSON format. So here we have to write app variable.use method, and under this, we have to write body parser variable.json method, so this code will add middleware function to Express application instance, which will parses incoming request bodies in JSON format and makes the passed data available on the request.body object. Now we want to connect this Node application with MySQL database, so here we have to write connection variable is equal to MySQL variable.create connection method, and under this method, we have to define data in object. So in first key, we have to write host, and in value, we have to write localhost. In second key, we have to write database, and in value, we have to write testing. In third key, we have to write user, and in value, we have to write root. And in last key, we have to write password, and in value, we have to write blank value. So this code will make connect this Node application to my SQL database. After this, we want to check this Node application has been connected with my SQL database. So here, we have to write connection.connect method with callback function with error variable as argument. Under this function, we have to write console.log method, and under this method, we have to write my SQL database is connected successfully. So this message will be displayed after Node application connect with my SQL database. Now, we want to create one route for load index.html file in the browser. So here, we have to write app variable.get method with two arguments. In first argument, we have to write slash, which is index root of this Node application. And in second argument, we have to write callback function with two arguments like request and response variable. Under this callback function, we have to write response variable.send file function. This function will send a file in the HTTP response to client. And under this function, first we have to write __ directory name, and after this, we have to write /index.html, so it will send this file in HTTP response to client. Now we have goes to index file, and under this file, first we have paste this HTML code. Under this file, we have create one HTML table with 5 table column like ID, first name, last name, email and gender. After this, in table, we have create one table body tag with attribute it is equal to results. So we will be fill this table with data and blank row for add new data row under this tag by using vanilla JavaScript. Now we have goes to JavaScript code part, and here we have to write results body variable is equal to document.query selector method, and under this, we have to write table body id results. After this, we have create load data function, which will send AJAX request to Node application and fetch data from my SQL table and display under table body tag. Under this function, we have write request variable is equal to new XML HTTP request object. So here, we have create new instance of this XML HTTP request object for send HTTP request to server. After this, we have to write request variable.open method with two argument. In first argument, we have to write get request, and in second argument, we have to write URL, so here we have to write /get data root name. So this code will initialize a new request with the HTTP method and request sent to get data root. Now we have create one HTML variable with blank value, and under this variable, we will store data in HTML table format. After this, we have to write request variable.onReadyStateChange callback function. This function will be called when state change, and under this function, we have to write if statement, and under condition, we have to write request.readyState is equal to XML HTTP request.done, and request.status is equal to 200. If this condition true, then it will execute if block of code. And under this block, we have to write results variable is equal to JSON.pass function, and under this, we have to write request.response text variable. So here, it will pass JSON data and store under this results variable. Now for fetch data from this results variable, so here we have to write results dot for each loop, with callback function, with result variable as argument. Under this callback function, we have to write HTML variable, and here we have append this HTML code. In first table column, we want to display id table column data, so here we have to write result.id variable. In second column, we want to display first name table column data, so here we have to write result.firstName variable. Now we want to convert this column editable, so for this, here we have to write content editable attribute, which will convert this column into editable column. In third table column, we want to display last name table column data, so here we have to write result.lastName variable. And for make editable table column, here we have to write content editable attribute. In fourth table column, we want to display age table column data, so here, we have to write result.age variable. Now we want to make this table column editable, so here we have to write content editable attribute. And in last table column, we want to make delete button, so here we have to write button tag, with type is equal to button, and class is equal to button and button danger. And in button text, we have write remove, so it will make delete button. After this, we want to create another row, with editable table column, for add new data. So here, we have to write HTML variable, and here we have append this HTML code. Now we want make editable second table column, so here we have to write content editable attribute. And after this, forget this column data, so here we have to write id attribute is equal to first name data. After this, we want to make third table column editable, so here also, we have to write content editable attribute. And forget this table column data, so here we have to write id attribute is equal to last name data. After this, we want to make fourth column editable, so here we have to write content editable attribute. And forget this table column data, so here we have to write id attribute is equal to age data. Now we want to display data under table body tag, so here we have to write results body variable dot inner HTML property is equal to HTML, so it will display data under table body tag. After this, here we have to write request.send method, which will send AJAX request to server. So here function is ready. Now we want to call this function when page has been loaded. So here we have called this load data function. So when page has been loaded, then this function will call, and it will display data under HTML table. Now we have goes to server.js file, and here we have to create route for handle HTTP request. So here, we have to write app.get method with two argument. In first argument, we have to write /get data, and in second argument, we have to write callback function with request and response variable as argument. Under this callback function, we have to write SQL variable is equal to select star from sample data, order by id, in ascending order. Now for execute this query, so here we have to write connection variable.query method with two argument. In first argument, we have to write SQL variable, and in second argument, we have to write callback function with error and results variable as argument. Under this callback function, we have to write response.send method. And under this method, we have to write results variable, so it will send data to client in JSON format. After this, here we have to write app variable.listen method with 2 arguments. In first argument, we have write 3000 port number, and in second argument, we have to write callback function. And under this function, we have to write console.log method, and under this, we have to write server listing on port 3000, so this message will be displayed when node server has been started. So here our code is ready. Now we want to check output in the browser. So in command prompt, we have run this command, which will start node server, which we can see here. Now in the browser, we have typed localhost with 3000 port number. So here on web page, we can see that data has been loaded in HTML table format. Here we can see that each table data has been editable, so we can easily edit table column data here without going to other web page. And here, we can see, remove button has been created in each row of data for delete data. And at the last, we can see one blank row, and here this column are editable. And here, we can also see add button also, so we can fill data in this editable column, and by click on button, we can add data into MySQL table without going to other web page. So here we will perform create, update and delete data operation in table. So in this part, we have learned how to fetch data from MySQL table and display on web page in HTML table by using Node.js with MySQL. In next part, we will show you how to inline or live, add or insert data into MySQL table using Node.js, so we will be meet in next part.